Hello, everybody. All right, I've had a problem here as of late with my well pump, and that is the pressure switch contact points bouncing. Now, a lot of people seem to have this problem. The gal that owns the restaurant that I go to on the weekends, she just had a new pump installed, new pressure switch, and a new bladder, a pressure bladder. And hers are doing it too after a couple weeks, and they've been out 3 times to repair it. I have done a lot of research on it, and actually somebody else mentioned this, and it got my attention that the pressure switch, which sometimes should be outside by the tank, or if you're lucky enough to have a tank indoors, but it should be right near it. Now, these above ground pumps, what it is they come with a tube that goes exactly from the impeller here to the pressure switch. So every time this pump, and this is rather an old pump, it's a 2000, so it's almost 19 years old. And I guess, it has a surge in here, which causes these contact points to just bounce like crazy. Now, mine was bouncing twice in kick-on, and the pump was jumping, and I cured that fairly much by cleaning the points with a file. Now, I cleaned the points in there, but they are so burned up and so old and gone that I bought another switch, and the other switch was bouncing like mad. I think the switch had a problem, shut off and cut on, that, it actually went up to 75 pounds before I tapped the thing to make it stop, which the setting on mine is a 30-50, which has been adjusted up a little bit. As you can see on the gauge, I'm at 55. I also did install a new gauge to get a proper reading on it. So what I did is I plugged up the pump with just a brass fitting that screws in there with Teflon tape and pipe dope, and then I ran a line out through the wall to the pressure bladder, and I know I've got way too much line here. I may shorten it, but right now the problem is cured on both ends, even with the old switch. Now, I returned the other switch because it was, there was obviously a defect with it not cutting off at 50 or even close to it, because 75 pounds would be way too much for a cutoff. And what I did here is this, of course, is the system. This is the pressure tank. Now, the points bouncing, if you have a bad pressure bladder, will also cause that. But the way to check it is you take this cap off, and there's a Schrader valve under there, and if you push that down with a little screwdriver or whatever, and water comes out, your bladder is shot. The other thing too is it needs to be set 2 pounds under your cut-in pressure. So you got to make sure that that's right, so it doesn't become waterlogged, with too little, and you don't want too high a pressure either. The other thing is you can tap the tank, and you can start to feel where the water, where it gets tighter. Also, you can shake the tank a little bit, and if it's extremely heavy, then it's filled with water, and it means the tank is bad. In my case, the tank is not bad. I have done all the checks on it, and it's still holding pressure. And basically what I did here is the line coming from the pump indoors and coming out to the pressure bladder, I just installed a T-fitting and a compression fitting, ran the line out the wall to here, to where it has no pulsing. In other words, it's got steadier pressure, so the points aren't going to bounce. This is a really annoying problem if you leave the pumps the way they are, stock with the pressure switch 10 inches away from it, especially I imagine when they get older. So anyway, that's my cure, and you don't need to move the whole pressure switch. I don't like a pressure switch to be outdoors like that because critters get in it, spiders, ants, debris gets in it. It corrodes very quickly because there's a lot of moisture, especially in Florida, and I don't like the switch to be out here. And instead of running all the electrical out to the switch, the feed electrical, and then back to the motor, it was much easier just to run the hose out here back to the switch. It's only one little hose. So this is something to consider, and I know the guys that haven't figured it out, for my friend there that just bought the new system, I'm going to tell them that this is what I've found. Now I've got a new switch coming, and I ordered the OEM factory replacement switch instead of the Square D that I bought. I noticed that there's quite a few people that are having problems with these Square Ds. I don't know if that's a normal thing or not, but maybe it's just where they're mounted. So anyway, that's the fix for a bouncing pressure switch, which, if that continues on, especially if it does more than one bounce, it's going to burn up a pump. And this is cheap. I think it cost me maybe $20 in parts, and about an hour, 2 hours worth of my labor, which this if you're good mechanically speaking or whatever, you can do this yourself. So anyway, there it is. I hope that helps somebody. I know it's not mechanical stuff, but as you know, I do more than that. Whenever I do something around the house and I find a fix for something that people don't seem to be aware of, even in the profession, I like to put it out there on YouTube and BitChute to help other people out. So I do certain things electrically, like my generator hookup, and I can't. My bike is running extremely well, and it doesn't need any repair right now, knock on wood. So there's nothing I can do as far as the video with that, and both the cars are in, the car and the truck are in good enough shape to where I'm not going to be working on them anytime soon, which I'm really happy about because I'm kind of burned out after the summer. And so anyway, we did a quick plumbing thing, and that's it. All right, take care, gentlemen. Be good.